Diana. Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning. We always like poof.
I know, it always starts the
have
day so
to.
beautifully. I'm very well. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Supernova Sisters, Physicians in Motion. I'm Dr. Nupi, aka the Glitter Practitioner. For those of you who don't know me, I am a family physician, a GP in the UK, and I am also a spiritual and transformation life coach. And my passion is all about empowering my patients and clients to truly understand their whole self-health needs from a mind, body, and soul perspective, and knowing how to recognize when you're out of balance, realign your needs, and keep them restored. This is what I do, and I have a coaching program, Find Your Fizz and Flourish, and all the details are down here. Beautiful, our wonderful Mr. Producer will be providing all of those. And over to you now, my beautiful Supernova Soul Sister.
Well, good morning. Yes, I'm excited to be here because our guest is amazing. But yeah, my name is Diana Londoño. I'm a urologist. I'm another founder of Physician Coach Support, which has started to support physicians because burnout is real. More than 60% of us are going through it. And it really starts spiraling into anxiety, depression, leaving medicine, and suicide. So this is really a big issue because we're all patients. We're all going to have to go take our kids, take our aunt, take our friends to the doctor. And we want them to be, ready to see us, happy to see us, not apathetic. So Physician Coach Support is a free and confidential platform. Any physician can go there. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you need help with boundaries, if you want to just talk about what should you do about a situation, that's what we're there for, free and confidential by volunteers who are physicians and life coaches. So that's what we're about, to try to really support you in any capacity to get you to a better place. And again, today we're really talking about tools to really help you. And so we have an amazing physician, Dr. Melissa Hankins, who is just absolutely incredible what she's doing. She's Harvard trained. She is a trauma-informed coach. And she really has many, many tools in her toolbox to help physicians, clients to get them again to that better place. So EFT tapping, she's going to explain what it is, how to do it. We're going to do it live here to really feel what this is, help you as a tool to get you from, anxiety, just not feeling right, not being aligned, to just a better, joyful place. So let's welcome her. Let's have her tell us all about it.
Come on, Melissa.
Woohoo! Hey! I'm so excited to be here, ladies.
Oh, it's fantastic to have you on. You get the shells this morning.
Oh, I love the shells, nature, ocean, oneness. It's awesome.
Precisely. It's the dolphin energy coming out.
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Seriously, it's just fabulous to have you on.
And she got the blue, so we're all in serenity.
Oh, we are, aren't we?
Yes. So
and we don't plan this. It just happens.
That.
Yes, it's like the different.
We're all on the same wavelength.
Yes, it's the different hues of the ocean. I love it. So, yes. Melissa, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and floor is yours. Basically, go for it.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Melissa Hankins, and I, by training and by trade, for almost 18 years, worked as an adult psychiatrist. And I eventually transitioned to coaching physicians primarily in the burnout and perfectionism space. Really, yes, I know. Who of us here perfectionistic? Yes.
So, reformed perfectionist. Reformed
right.
Now.
It's it's always something that we're working on, right? And so I coach physicians and other high performers in this space, really bringing them to a space of wellness. And in addition to being a certified executive coach and a trauma-informed coach, I am an EFT practitioner, and EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, or tapping, people may have heard tapping, and we're going to be talking about that. And I bring that into everything that I do. It's really just such a powerful technique. I have other energy kind of based techniques. I'm also a Reiki practitioner, and you know, all the things. But yeah, definitely EFT, when I discovered it over a decade ago, just I fell in love with it. I'm like, oh my God, people need to know about this.
Amazing, 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 amazing. What do you say, Diana? I think personally we should just jump straight right in and get going with some EFT. What do you think?
I think so. Maybe just tell people what EFT is, because I think we were like, what are we talking about? You were so nifty. What is it? Just maybe explain it.
Yeah.
What does it actually stand for? Like, what's the basis of it? We do know that there's studies, people that want to know studies, that it is proven to help with anxiety, depression, PTSD. So we'll definitely do it. I think it's great. Let's just jump in. People can really feel this difference.
Yes.
Just explain what it is, where it comes from. You know, what are we doing when we're doing this tapping?
Yes.
And why would that help us? Because I think sometimes some people learn by understanding before doing. Some are doers and then they understand. But for everybody's different learning style, you know, maybe just explain that. And, you know, hello to everybody joining us from Calgary, Canada. So thank you for joining us from the cold. Hopefully this tapping will get your body warm and excited and in a better place. But yeah,
and the beauty is it's something you can actually, it's something you're going to take away today and be able to use. So Melissa, over to you.
Yes, that's actually one of the reasons I fell in love with tapping, is because when I was working as a psychiatrist and working with my patients, I really wanted to have a tool for them to be able to use on their own for managing some of their stress and anxiety and overwhelm in the day-to-day. And certainly I use it with my clients. So my physician clients now, in all of my coaching. So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And it's a collection of mind-body techniques that it's evidence-based. And it's really combining elements of modern psychology with while you're tapping on acupressure points, certain acupressure points on the head and upper body and hand. And so it involves elements of exposure kind of therapy, or an exposure element, because you're bringing to mind and focusing on an event or a thought or a feeling. It involves a cognitive element, which you're focusing on the thought about the feeling or the event that you're thinking about. It involves a somatic element, somatic meaning body. And because you're not only tapping or stimulating, you can rub on points as well, but you're stimulating or tapping these acupressure points on the body, and you are also focusing or tuning into where in the body you're holding that thought or that feeling. Because we hold things in our body that way. And then there's a mindfulness element that comes into EFT, where, because while we're tapping, we're constantly noticing our thoughts and our feelings and our body sensations. So it's bringing all of these things together with the tapping. So this nice bridge of kind of modern Western psychology and kind of ancient, Eastern medicine, if you will, right? And it's really a wonderful technique that you can learn to use on your own for certain situations. And it can be really helpful, though, to have a trained, especially trauma informed, but a trained practitioner, EFT practitioner, to help you through. Because just like coaching or just like any other kind of modality, we all have our blind spots. And that's even true for EFT. And so you can have a practitioner who can help kind of guide you through the tapping process, and also kind of titrate it a little bit and keep you on track. Because sometimes when we tap, our mind jumps to, oh, and this thought, oh, and that thought, oh, and this other thought. And so we want to keep kind of focused on clearing a thought or an event. And when I say clearing, I mean decreasing the intensity of the emotion or the feeling we have attached to it. And I have a little bit more to say just in terms of how it actually works, but just in terms of that, anything, do you want me to pause for a moment?
No.
Anything? Okay. All right. Fabulous.
Fantastic.
So,
Yeah.
Keep going.
Like
I am tapping on my keyboard as you're writing, just bringing some salient points up at the same time. So please, no, it's perfect. Keep going.
okay, fabulous, fabulous. So EFT, what it does is it involves really identifying a thought or a feeling or a sensation that you essentially want to feel less intensely, or that you want to feel less or experience less frequently. And with tapping, and tapping on how you think and feel about these things in the present moment. So you're not necessarily, you know, focusing, it may be something that happened in the past, but you're not necessarily focusing on how you felt then. You're focusing on how you think and feel about it in the present. So it's really a present modality that can help with past, future, or present events, actually. And so when you're tapping, the way it works, and I love it so much. So the way that it works is when you're tapping, you're sending a calming signal to your amygdala, which is the part of the brain that is the stress response center. It's the part of our brain that activates our fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. So our stress response, if you will. And so whenever we have stresses, they can be a moment, like a one-time kind of stress. They can, like a test. Someone might have a test, for example, or a big exam, or a boards exam for physicians for recertification or something, and or it might be a chronic stress. Say it's a long time. Maybe you have a chronic pain, and you have or a chronic illness, and you have a lot of emotion regarding that. Or you just have, your day-to-day work stress, which can turn into chronic stress, or stresses at home. So all of those stresses can activate our amygdala and turn on that stress response, that threat response. Because when our amygdala gets activated, our mind and our body, it doesn't know the difference between a real threat, like a life-threatening, the tiger's coming to eat us kind of threat, versus a perceived threat. It treats it the same way. And so when we are doing EFT, we're sending this calming signal to the amygdala and basically saying, hey, stand down. There's no real threat here. You're safe. You're okay. And it helps to decrease cortisol levels. That's been shown in some studies around EFT significantly, actually, after just even an hour of EFT. But cortisol and adrenaline are released when the stress response gets activated. So those get lowered, we feel calmer. And when that happens, our higher reasoning kind of functioning comes back online. Because when when we perceive a threat, the cognitive, logical thinking, reasoning, that goes out the window. It's all about survival, right? And so that doesn't often help us in our day-to-day kind of, we get stuck. We can just really get tunnel vision of like, oh my gosh, I just have to either react, I have to fight, I have to, get argumentative, get really defensive, or I retreat and avoid doing things, or I procrastinate. Some people do people pleasing, and that can be a fawn response, like, oh, okay, I'm going to avoid conflict here, so I'm going to people please. That fighting kind of might be the workaholism that people are really trying to I'm going to do, and I'm going, or they might get aggressive and angry at people, so all kinds of things, but you can decrease these things with EFT.
So good.
Beautiful.
I mean, it's sort of like I was thinking while you were speaking, sort of like the pressure cooker is really turning down that fire for the pressure cooker so you can decrease that intensity. So you're not like about to bubble and start fighting with everybody, or again, working, or trying to please or retreating. So you're just really decreasing that temperature. So it's not so high, you're going to explode. And it's really saying, hello, let's bring this down so we're not in a terrible place. And I love how you explain all these different ways it can manifest, because some people may want to please, overwork, or be reactive and angry and on the defensive all the time, that fight or flight. And I feel like I see this all the time, with so many people. We're all in so much stress that it's manifested in one way or another. I love how you explain those nuances.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was just going to say that, Diana, as well. It came to me when you were talking, actually, Melissa. It's sometimes you don't actually know that this is the response you are coming up with. It's because it's so conditioned within you. But when you are, what I wrote was, you're tapping in physically and tapping into really your emotions, your feelings. So it's tapping and tuning in. As you know, I love my alliteration. So I'm like, yes, we are tapping physically and we are tuning in at the same time. And that's the connection that we are making here.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes when people are feeling really overwhelmed with something, and they feel like, oh, maybe they've got 18 things on their to-do list, right? And they're like, I don't even know where to start. Sometimes just tapping will help people tune in to, okay, what is it what's really the most important? So you're quieting the noise and tuning in to what's important. And also, one thing that I should say with tapping, well, a couple of things. One is that sometimes when we are so adept at suppressing emotions, like a lot of physicians are, we've been conditioned to do that because we're in situations where sometimes being emotional is not necessarily the best thing. However, it can happen to an extreme, and actually being able to connect with our emotions are another source of data. It's another point of information. And when we cut that off, we're cutting ourselves off from data about ourselves, about the situation we're in. And so, but one thing to keep in mind, sometimes when I've worked with folks, initially what happens is that they don't think, they're like, oh yeah, my intensity around that is pretty low. We use a scale from 0 to 10. They're like, yeah, that's like a 3. And then we start tapping and all of a sudden it's a 7, because they have suppressed it for so long that it's like, oh, I didn't even know that was there. But it's coming out in different ways that are no longer serving them, behaviors, thoughts, actions. And so sometimes people will temporarily have their numbers or intensity go up, and then we continue to tap to have them go down. But so that's one thing I wanted to bring up. And then the other thing is that if someone is working through a trauma, like a big T trauma, a serious trauma, abuse, some sort of accident, major accident, if someone has been, in the service, things like that, you really need to work with a practitioner, not do tapping on your own on those types of things. You could do tapping on other things, but recognize that, you may find that if you start to veer off into opening up some of that, you really need to have a trauma-informed, well-trained EFT practitioner to help you do that, because you need to have a safe container.
Yes, absolutely. Would you be able to give us a demo?
Yes.
Show and tell. Come on.
So we have just a few minutes. Yes. So
we've got
okay.
about 5-6 minutes, I reckon, something like that.
All right. So there are different ways you can use EFT, and this one is just in the moment. You don't even necessarily have to tune into a specific event or feeling. This is just kind of more orienting tapping we're going to do. And so we're going to start with the side of the hand. The side of the hand is this, you could do left or right, starts from the beginning of your pinky to your wrist. So the side of your hand is a point. I'm going to go through the points really quickly, and then we'll tap. Side of the hand, left or right. Sometimes people like to do this. Top of the head, the very top of your head. So you can tap. And when I say tap, I don't mean, cause pain. I mean, just tap lightly. So we're not trying to cause headaches. We're not trying to draw blood, nothing like that. No bruising. The eyebrow point is the beginning of your eyebrow, left, right, or both. So the side of your eye is that bone on the side of your eye. You could do left, right, or both. Under your eye is the bone right under your eye. So right in, once again, I tend to do both sides, but you can do, if you just want to do one side, that's fine. Under your nose is between your nose and your upper lip. It's right in the middle. And then your chin is not actually your chin, but it's that crease in your chin. And so that's a midline point also. Your collarbone, if you feel the bony prominences of your collarbone, and then go over an inch and down an inch. You don't have to be exact. I tend to do this. Some people just like to do this with one hand if it's easier. And then under your arm is about 4 inches below your armpit, or if you're a woman or someone who identifies as female and wears a bra, it's in your bra line. So those are the points. So what we're going to do is we're just going to tap on the side of the hand. And what I'm going to have you do is you tap. I just want you to notice your breathing. You don't have to change your breathing. Just notice it. Just noticing our breathing. Then we're going to the top of the head. And notice if you're having any feelings and any sensations in your body. Anything is fine. Just continue to tap and breathe normally. And if you notice any pains or any discomfort, just take note of it and where it is. If you want to focus on it while we're tapping, you can do that, absolutely. Eyebrow point, so the beginning of your eyebrows. And you can notice maybe what's around you right now. Whatever surroundings you're in. And just also notice if it's light or dark, or if there's something up on the wall that you're looking at. Side of the eye. Come back to your breathing. Are you noticing that your breathing is filling your lungs part way, halfway, all the way? Just notice. And under your eye, yeah, you might notice some thoughts that are coming through your head right now. Like, oh, this is kind of cool. Or, oh, this is really weird. Why am I tapping on my body like this?
I'm loving it.
Or you might be thinking about what you've got on your to-do list for today.
So soothing.
And that might be causing a little anxiety as you think about that, a little spike of anxiety. And just notice it. And under your nose, just tap and say, oh, okay, what is on my to-do list today? What do I have to do? Oh, I feel like, Actually, I can maybe cross that one off or put it to the bottom of the list. Feel like doing that. And then your chin. And just continue to notice your thoughts and your breath. And if you're starting to feel a little more relaxed in your body, you may not have been realizing you were holding tension, but you notice now that, wow, maybe your shoulders are more relaxed. Maybe your breathing is calmer, deeper. Your collarbone. Coming back to thoughts like, wow, this is a great way to start the day. Maybe I can incorporate this in my day each day. Just do a couple of minutes of tapping just to get myself centered and calm. And then under the arm, take a few deep breaths, kind of cleansing your body with breath. And just relaxing into the breath. And saying, wow, I can actually start my day in this calm, relaxed state. And I can do this and bring this into any point in my day. Anytime. I could do it at lunch or during a break when I just need to get centered and to calm again. I can do this. Okay, and stop.
Beautiful. If you look at your faces now, because I can see both of you, and I can see it in my eyes and face, it's just this lightness that's come through. I feel it. Diana, I can see it in your eyes, big time.
So nice.
Yeah.
So soothing.
Beautiful.
It's part of the phase. I mean, it depends what you're holding on to that day or that moment. But to me, this part of the phase was so soothing.
Yeah.
Those are those people that grind like me, like grind your teeth.
Yeah.
This whole area, the mouth, it's just, it really is just so soothing. And again, it's so simple that you can incorporate it as a tool. I mean, these are just tools. And of course, if you're dealing with bigger issues, to really reach out to people like Melissa, especially as physicians, because we come with trauma to medicine. We experience training that's traumatic. And then we see the trauma of the patients, and we carry all this every single day, and we don't have a space to acknowledge and realize how that's affecting us, how we're reacting, because we haven't tapped into our emotions we're repressing. And these tools plus coaching, all that can help us get to a better place. But if not, just again, do it in the morning, do it at lunch, do it in between patients, just a few minutes to clear out all the gunk that is now moving through you, and really realign and just feel lighter. So lovely. Oh, that's just what we needed.
And you know what? That took, I was keeping an eye on the time, not because of the show, but just generally speaking, that took no time at all. But this is what I say to my patients and clients, you bend time because you've slowed everything down. A couple of minutes, it feels like a heck of a lot longer. It's when I do my breathing technique and my fuck off, focus, breathe and flip. But to get into that state, 4 box breathing cycles, it takes no time, but it feels like 20 minutes, just like now. And that is where you bring yourself back to a calmer, you are activating your the parts of your brain where you can keep your awareness expanded and your perspective expanded. That's the key, because it's doing this because you are noticing a feeling, you are naming it in your head, and this gives you the tool to keep here so you can reframe it. That's the next bit. So that's just the link there. Fantastic.
Yes, because there are so many ways that you can incorporate tapping, and this is just one very quick way. And we didn't necessarily focus on a specific event or situation. We were just in the moment, and we were just taking in, okay, what am I noticing in this moment? Maybe I am feeling a little tense. Maybe I'm feeling a little anxious, and just bring that into the tapping. And but if you are wanting to work on a specific situation or event and clear the intensity around that, maybe some discord at work or at home or or just how you're feeling, then working with a practitioner can be really helpful.
Yeah, I love it. And how can they reach you? We're going to put it in the show notes, of course, but how can they reach you if somebody isn't, a professional or a physician and they really want to make a longer transformation, a change, and work through things that, are weighing them down. And, again, use many tools. This is one in your coaching that you use. How can they find you just to get to a better place?
Yes, thank you so much for that, Diana. The best ways to reach me are you can actually find me on LinkedIn. You can message me on LinkedIn or on Instagram at Melissa Hankins, MD. You can email me at hello@melissahankinscoaching.com. And I had hoped to have my site up by the time we actually, aired this show, and I've been having some issues with it, doing my own tapping around it. So my site is not go to melissahankinscoaching.com. You might be like, there's nothing there yet. So
that's like me.
Email me hello@melissahankinscoaching.com, right? And LinkedIn or Instagram message me. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me. We can set up a time. I do free consultations, hour-long consultations, so we can figure out what's going on, if we're the right match, and go from there. Yeah.
I love it.
Beautiful. Fantastic.
It was so helpful. Oh,
thank you. Thank you so much. I think yes,
so
we're going to get you on again, basically, big time.
I'd love to come on again. Absolutely. And we could perhaps do a little more even focused tapping at that point, so there are, all different things. Yes. Yes. If one of you wants to volunteer for that.
I will.
Yeah, I'll share with him.
I think Diana can do it.
Share the love, but anybody can really benefit. If you were watching the replay or live, really just go back and watch it again so you can go through the steps as she was showing us, and on the video where to tap it, where you want to press those points, and that way you just again do it on your own for these reframing, resetting, and realigning. And again, you're just going to feel it. Try it. If you don't try it, you can't knock it. You can't say it doesn't work. Just be open to it. What do you have to lose? Nothing, but you're going to feel better. We really just felt better, in these few minutes. It really is amazing. Yeah. It was
nice. Yeah. Tap and tune in. Tap and tune in. I love it. So Melissa, thank you so much. Please don't go anywhere. We'll come and join you in the green room as we wrap up.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow, Diana, amazing. I feel like I know. What a great way to start the day, though. I'm just all zinging, and I'm like, I think I'm going to float in fairyland for a bit. I've gone the complete opposite way. It's fabulous.
So helpful. And again, we didn't dive into even naming the feeling and working through that situation that maybe is concerning you, but that's just really a deeper level that can really get you to a better place when you're just ruminating and spinning on something maybe at work or at home, and then it's sort of like there's a lot of radio frequencies and you just tune into that one and you just slow it down. Exactly. And it really it's so helpful. I just love these different skills that maybe as physicians we didn't learn and we don't incorporate, but we can use for ourselves or for others. That was so helpful.
And the beauty is it's something that you can do now. It's instant. It's something you take away. Okay. There you have it. Beautiful. So Diana, tell everybody how they can get hold of you as we start wrapping up.
Yeah, so you could always reach out to me in my website, Diana Londoño MD, or Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Diana Londoño MD. And really, again, this is really trying to just showcase to physicians you're worth it. You matter. It's really important that you're well mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, so that we can really take care of others really well. And if you need a little extra support, if you want to talk to somebody that is not your family or your therapist, or a different perspective of how to look at things, just reframing how one situation is getting you in a spin mentally, come to Physician Coach Support. Again, it is confidential, it is free. There's nothing out there like it, where there's a coach who's certified, who's also a physician and a peer, and can just help you. It's on Zoom 7 days a week. It's so easy, so accessible. And just read the reviews of hundreds of physicians that have used it, so you can know that you're not alone. Just like, vent if you need to. That's okay. It's going to reduce that emotional charge by speaking it, by naming it. Again, these feelings, you're going to just feel better. And who doesn't want to feel better, with the holidays, with a lot of triggers we're getting, with feeling lonely, with feeling not worth it? Talk to somebody. Start your path to wellness. So reach out to us, and we'd be happy to really just work with you. And Nupi, tell us all about you, and flourish and find your fizz, so you can get to a better place and long-term transformation.
Thank you. So you can get hold of me right here on LinkedIn. All my details are on LinkedIn. There's a Calendly link there. And absolutely, I use my F-list framework. And that is exactly how something I developed post burnout, which was 12 years ago, which I've used with my patient community and now with clients. And it's really the framework of my coaching program, Find Your Fizz and Flourish, as well. And you can get hold of me here. You can also get hold of me you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. I always forget one of them. And absolutely, to reiterate, this is all about, whether you're a physician or you're in a different profession, the baseline is that we all have the same basic human needs. Yes, we are unique in our own self. Our backstories differ. That's what makes us who we are. But it's recognizing that, you know what, your needs matter. End of, full stop. Know that you are worth that. And please reach out if you are struggling or feeling a certain way. Don't ignore it. Perfectly okay to feel like that. Reach out. There is always somebody who you can contact, speak to. Diana's coaching organization on LinkedIn. That's why we wanted to do this show. Actually, it's just to raise awareness and know where you can come for help and support.
Love it. So we will see you in 2 weeks, 7:30 Pacific time. We're going to have amazing guests, keeping these tools, keeping these guests to just show you a way of doing things differently, to get you to a better place, to start your day with positivity, light, joy, and really just get you to flourish and fizz. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. I can't wait to do that.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.